What's up, guys? Welcome to AzesEco. This is Kay, and then today I'm gonna talk about really interesting topics. Maybe have you ever guys heard about 10-year economy recession cycle? I think almost everybody here who are interested in the economy and investment have ever heard about it before. So it's a really interesting thing. So today I'm gonna cover it as for the first my video. So as you can see here in the graph, the gray area indicates the U.S. Economy recessions. As you can see here, at the beginning of 1980s and the beginning of 1990, and then at the beginning of 21st century, the dot-com bubble. And then just about 10 years ago, the financial crisis in 2008 from the Wall Street. So it happens. So as you can see here, we can notice that almost every 10 years the U.S. economy recession has happened. Then it had a big impact and influence around the global economy. So I think it's really interesting to find the reason why it happened and then the answer and what we should do if the recession is coming in 1 or 2 years. So let's talk about this. Why ordinary people and then some professional investors think the U.S. economic recession is coming soon in 1 or 2 years? I just found a lot of information to make this video, so I just found the three reasons why people think just like that. The first one is the U.S. interest rate hike, and then the second one is the geopolitical uncertainties around the world, and then the third one is the U.S. Treasury bond 10 years minus 2 years is about to touch the zero line. So let's cover the first reason for the first time, and then the U.S. interest rate hike. It's a really famous thing, and then almost every investors and countries has focused on the FRB's interest hike. If they rise it or lower it, it's really important matter in the global economy, as we all know. So these days, how can I say? Let's see. As we all know through the news, the Jerome Powell, the chair of the FRB, announced that the FRB gonna rise interest rate once or twice in 2019. Actually, it was supposed to be more than 3 times, but they just slow it down for some reasons. So I think maybe it could be because the U.S. interest rate hike has great influence in the world global economy. So maybe they should be cautious and serious. So let's see. Mhm. So why the U.S. interest rate hike does matter? Why it has great impact on the global economy? The first one is if the U.S. interest rate is going up, the any other government, I mean any other countries in the world have no choice but to balance the interest rate, because if the U.S. interest rate is around 2.0, and then their country's interest rate is around 1.5 or around 1%, so it doesn't have any merit. It doesn't have any merit as developing countries. So a great amount of the dollar investment money is getting out of the country and then going back to the U.S. So it could have influence on the stock market, bond market, and any other assets and real estate market around the world. So they have no choice but to make the interest rate higher. But there's there must be some problem about this, because so for example in Korea, these days the Korea's interest rate is lower than American one, just like it's about 1.5, I guess. 1.5% is way lower than US one. Then so Korean government cannot easily follow the US interest hike. This it has a lot of problems. A lot of matters are intertwined with each other. The first one is the personal individual debt of Korean people has a great amount of individual debt because of the investment on real estate or any other assets or for their own business. So for running their own business, they have to borrow money out of bank, and then if the interest rate is going up, so they got a much more burden to pay back its interest rate. So the bankruptcy of the individual or companies could be really, really easily happen in Korea. So, so what I want to say is, if the U.S. government FRB make the interest rate higher, so any other countries in the world have to, maybe must follow the interest rate hike. So it could make a lot of internal problem, as I mentioned before, just like the burst of the real estate or increased interest. It's really they are not afford to pay it back. So the bankruptcy of the individual and corporate could happen really easily. So that's the matter. So definitely it has connection with deflation, and then deflation means the world economy could going down, and then it makes big recession. Let's talk about the second one. The second one is geopolitical uncertainties like US China trade war, the Brexit, the Venezuela current situation. The value of the bolivar, its own fiat currency, is going down, 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 down. So it really matters. Okay. Let's talk about the hyperinflation in Venezuela later. I think the most important problem is the U.S.-China the trade war. As we all know, it does not the only matter between the China and the U.S. The USA and the China is the largest country in the world, and they have great amount of GDP, and then they have big influence on the world global economy. So now they are talking about the how much tariff they put on their import goods from each other's countries. So uh, they so far they never made any conclusion between the war between conclusion about their trade war. So it's kind of uncertainty. So this kind of, and then the Brexit. Nobody knows the Great Britain's. I mean the Great Britain, the UK is getting is gonna be is gonna sorry they are coming spinning off from the EU, European Union. So nobody knows about it, and then if it happens, the global impact is gonna be quite big, I guess. And then the Venezuela current situation, as we all know, the hyperinflation is going on in the Venezuela. So I think it's really really important problem. So we are just relying on this kind of the paper bill. So basically, it doesn't have any meaning or its value. It's just like paper. But the government guarantee the value of the currency, and then it has its own meaning, and then it has its own value. But once hyperinflation has happened, the people in Venezuela, their lives is gonna be poor, and then so they have a lot of problem in the consumption price in the country. So they don't believe anymore they don't believe in their bolivar, their own fiat currency anymore. So it's really big problem, and then they have no choice but to find something new tool to guarantee the value of their labor, which means if they work, they're gonna get paid. So if they get paid in Bolivar, it doesn't have any meaning because the value of the Bolivar is going down every day. So yeah, that's the problem. So we have a lot of geopolitical uncertainties these days. Then it could be a big friend. It could be a good friends for the next recession, I guess. And then the third one is it's really important, and then historical things. So the U.S. Treasury bond yield, 10 years minus 2 years, is about to touch the 0 point. As you can see here in the graph, the gray area is the recession period, and then once the 10 year minus 2 year hits the 0 point, in 1 or 2 years, the recession must follow. So it's quite, how can I say? And we are talking about the history and then the future of the economy. And then so as you can see here, the history happens without any exception. So 10 minus 2 years hit the 0 point, and then in 1 or 2 years the recession had come. So as you can see here in 2018 and 2019, the 10 year minus 2 year US Treasury bond yield is about to touch the 0 point. Then if we hit the 0 point, the recession could come in 1 or 2 years based on historical data archive. So these are three reasons why the global economy recession could come in 1 or 2 years. And then let's talk about why every 10 years the recession is coming. I think there must be a reason. And then I think the answer is the interest rate, especially the U.S. federal fund rates, which means U.S. interest rate. Yeah. See. Let me see. As you can see, the chart here, the U.S. interest rate is going down since it hits its all-time high in 1980s, and then is decreasing. It is decreasing gradually, and then it hits its all-time low in 2015. So once the recession has come, the US government had printed out its own fiat currency, the dollar, and then which means the quantitative easing to support its economy, and then lowering their interest rate. So the great amount of dollars, some amount of dollars exported to the foreign countries, and then some amount of dollars flowed into the market, in asset market, just like stocks, the bond, and then the real estate, as it usually happen. And then so that's why the financial crisis in 2008 happened. And then so it's in the position of the government, it's really hard to make a balance between the inflation and deflation, the expanding and the recession of the country's economy. Is really hard to make the balance. So I don't know how to stop the recession coming, but I think the answer is the interest rate, and then it's really hard to make a balance between the expanding and inflation and deflation. So my opinion, I think it's a really sad reality, but recession is coming in 1 or 2 years, I think. Because why? So let's talk about why. I think first, there are no robust fundamentals in global economy. since 2008, when the smartphone has come, was released in the world by Steve Jobs. For example, in Korea, the Samsung, the biggest conglomerate in Korea, they had manufactured a great amount of the smartphone, and then they exported it to the countries all around the world. So they made profit. And semiconductor, and then the vessels and the ocean plans, those are the how can I say, the robust, the fundamental in the Korean economy. But I think there are no more robust fundamentals anymore, because the I think the upgrades in terms of hardware of smartphone is done. There are no more upgrade or any function could be added in the smartphone. Yeah, there could be a small part of it. It's nothing revolutionary. So, but yeah, and then I think, yeah, the point is, I think it's compared to the past, there are no more robust fundamental in the world economy, and then some, because of some geopolitical matters, the deflation could come, and then the consumption and investments is going down, then which means the unemployment rate could go up. So yeah, so and then because of the U.S. interest rate hike, the household debt, the corporate debt, and U.S. federal debt, definitely it could make a great impact our global economy, and then finally the recession could come to us. So I think so. So today I just told you guys about the three reasons why the economic recession could come in 1 or 2 years. And then it's really interesting things, and some might say it's kind of conspiracy, but I think it's quite logical, and then based on the historical data. So we should prepare for the recession period, and then we should think about what we have to invest in what kind of asset, more stock, bond, more cryptocurrency, something like that. So I'm gonna talk about you guys. What is the best option? Then what's best option? Then we should think about what in the recession area. Let's talk about it later. And then please stay tuned. And then if you are satisfied with my contents, please give me thumbs up and subscribe my channel, please. Then I'm gonna see you guys next time. Bye bye.